What up, everybody? In the series The Shy, the main villain has been Otis Perry, aka Douda. Douda is a polarizing figure who you either love or hate. Douda was introduced at the beginning of Season 2 as the frontman for the 63rd Street Mob. Douda is very wealthy and puts on the front as a successful businessman to cover up all the dirt that he's doing. Douda also became the mayor of Chicago at one point just to prove it to himself he could after someone told him that he couldn't as a child. But the writing was all over the wall in Season 6, Episode 4 that Douda's days are numbered. Not that I was expecting Douda to still be living when the series is over, because none of the good villains ever get to live. Nino Brown, Ghost, and Scarface, to name a few. But the writing was all over the wall in Episode 4, and I'll start off with the closing minutes of the episode when Pastor Stanley was preaching his sermon about the lion in the jungle. The lion in the jungle he was talking about was Douda. All while Douda was sitting right there in the back of the church. This is after Douda tried giving Reverend Jackson money twice, but got turned down. Douda was sitting there pissed off and told Nuck to take care of the Reverend at the end of the show. One statement he made in his sermon was, "How long before the lion comes and devours your household?" And currently, Douda has affected just about every family on the show, except for maybe Kev's. And Kev was working for Douda at one point when he was younger also. It was in Season 2 when Douda met up with the OG of the 63rd Street Mob, who's been in prison since the 80s, concerning the cops being hot about some home invasions they were doing for a real estate grab. He told Douda that he needed to find a fish, and he found one, Brandon the chef and his food truck business. Douda then started lavishing Brandon with 63rd Street protection, boatloads of money, and a brand new second food truck. Then the feds raided his food truck and found the gun that he took from Kev, who Kev got from Jake, and who Jake stole from Reg. And that gun had 3 bodies on it. Season 2 concluded with Brandon and the 2 cops he was working with watching Douda close on a new real estate deal, a result of the home invasions. Brandon agreed to work with the feds, and Season 3 started off with Brandon's funeral. In my personal opinion, one of the weirdest moments in television history. We were only left to wonder what happened until Season 4 when Douda got shot by Brandon's mom, and that's when Douda told Rosalind that he killed Brandon for snitching. But even the first episode of Season 4 left more questions when they were at Smokey's and someone said he heard Brandon was in witness protection. Next thing you know, Papa saw his dad take money from Douda, only to a few episodes later get arrested for money laundering. One difference between Brandon and Pastor Stanley is that Pastor Stanley took his charge like a G and didn't open his mouth. And that's why the Reverend is still living and Brandon isn't. But his mistake was calling out Douda in front of his congregation, because I'm sure everyone who heard that sermon knew exactly who he was talking about. And Douda's a man with a lot of pride, so I don't think he's going to let him get away with that. Getting me to Emmett, who's fallen practically into the same situation that Brandon was in. The only difference is that Emmett didn't already have a dirty gun, so Douda made sure to bring one to him as a housewarming gift. Luckily for Emmett though, Darnell found that gun and took it. Pay close attention to the conversation that he had with Emmett about the gun. He straight up told Emmett that there was probably already like 3 or 4 bodies on the gun. The same situation that happened with Brandon. Getting me to the bag that Nuck brought Emmett. I am not 100% sure what was in the bag. Was it just a bag of money? Or was the guns also in that bag that they were trying to get Shad to hold on to? But there's a big difference between Emmett and a lot of the people Douda has tried bringing under his wing, if that's what you want to call it. When Douda killed that man for chewing his gum too loud right in front of Emmett, Emmett looked terrified. Then Douda just went back to talking to Emmett like nothing happened. This is the same type of story that Brandon's stepfather told Brandon about Douda. He said when Douda was a kid that he beat the hell out of some kid on the playground, and after that he went right back to playing like nothing happened. But notice that Douda killing that man wasn't enough to scare Emmett away because Emmett's so caught up in the money. Getting me to the big question of the day, who will kill Douda? I said the writing was all over the wall in episode 4. Douda even said it himself. You know I won't be here forever. I gotta pass the throne down to somebody. So I got a few different theories because honestly it could be anybody because the fact that Douda's made so many enemies. But if I had to put money on it, and I will put good money on it because I'm confident in my bet, I would say that Bakari will be the one to kill Douda. The fact that Douda is going to have Pastor Stanley killed will ultimately be the reason he's killed also. Also keep in mind that Pastor Stanley has basically taken Bakari in and treated him like his own son. Keep in mind at the dinner table when he called Bakari his son, saying that meant the world to Bakari. Pastor Stanley's death will be very hard on Bakari, and when he finds out that Douda was behind his murder, he will take it upon himself to kill Douda to avenge Pastor Stanley. Keep in mind that Bakari killed Ronnie to avenge the death of Coogie. Then there's the fact that most of the characters on the show don't have it in them to catch a body, especially somebody the caliber of Douda. Bakari also has an advantage because he works for Douda and would be able to catch him while he's relaxing. Plus, right after the conversation Douda had about he's not going to be here forever, immediately Bakari came walking in the door. This could also be a clue that Bakari will be the one to take out Douda. Getting me to my next theory, that Emmett gets arrested with the bag that he got from Nuck, and Darnell kills Douda for ruining his son's life. Darnell has already told Douda that he will kill him himself if something happens to his son. Then you have to consider the fact that Rob is currently investigating to find out who killed his Uncle Q. Right now he hasn't gotten anywhere, and he might actually end up killing Victor thinking that he killed Q. But at the same time, I don't think Rob has the heart to catch a body, especially somebody like Douda. But if he finds out that Douda is responsible for killing Q, his mom might kill Douda, or I'm pretty sure Q still has a soldier or two that we haven't seen since season 1, who she might call to come back and do the job for her. Also keep in mind that Sonny was Q's brother, even though they didn't have that good of a relationship, so I don't think he would do anything about it either. Then there's some wild cards that I can throw out there, like Jake. Jake already knows that Douda is responsible for Reg's death, and he knows that Douda almost killed his girl's father. But Jake isn't like Emmett. When he saw Douda kill that man, he ran away, and that's what made him want to go live with his brother in the first place. So I don't think Jake has the heart to kill Douda, unless Douda kills Victor, then that might change. But I don't think that Douda will kill Victor, because he would have already done so by now. And please don't hate on me, but I've been hoping Douda kill Victor, aka Trig, since Season 3, Episode 1. Getting me to the last few names I'm going to throw out there. First being Tracy. Tracy knows a lot of dirt about Douda, and there's nothing like a woman scorned. And we see that Douda already has moved on to a new side piece. Next, I'll say Rosalind. This is a long shot, but keep in mind that she didn't stop Jake from taking those papers out of Douda's safe, which could have potentially caused him problems. And she'd been with Douda for so long, I wouldn't put it past Rosalind being the one to kill him. Of course, Douda could also die at the hands of Nuck. Nuck would make this move so he could take Douda's spot. Keep in mind, Nuck is always playing chess, which means he's calculated. And right now, he has Douda thinking that he's not ruthless enough. The last person I'm going to throw out there is, I'm not even sure of his name right now, but it's the kid Douda called the Quiet One, and who stole the blue Mustang that looks like Tommy Egan's car. He reminds me a lot of a young Douda, so he could definitely be the one to take him out. If Douda gets killed, I would expect it to take place around episode 9 or 10. But there's also the long shot that he doesn't get killed, but finally gets locked up. Maybe those same two cops we haven't seen since season 2 come back to lock him up. Also keep in mind that Douda might have even killed that lady cop's son, so she might come back to do the job also. But if I had my way, Douda would survive the Shy finale and not get locked up, because it would be nice to see the villain ride off into the sunset. But you know they don't ever let that happen. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.